Well, my name is Cheri. I live in Alto Dorado in Boquete, Panama, and I've been here since the 27th of February. Well, the neighborhood really is an ideal situation for me. It's very quiet. I live in a smaller community with 5 residences, which includes the residence of the landlord. And basically, they're all expats. And it's just a nice, quiet, tranquil environment. I live in the smallest apartment in the place. I'm on the lower level in a one-bedroom apartment.
When you look out your window, what do you see?
Oh my goodness, hummingbirds, lots of foliage, a lot of plants new to me. I can't even, tell you the names of everything, but beautiful orange flowers and purple flowers and hills and grass. And I even walk in the area for my exercise. So I just enjoy it. It's a very tranquil and peaceful environment. Good for retirement.
What concerned you before moving?
Main concern, I think with most people, is the financial aspect of it. A lot of people that I talked with when I was discussing my move, they expressed a concern about, oh golly, I couldn't do that because all these unexpected expenses. But for the most part, if you do your research and just kind of look into the cost of things before you come, it's not an issue. And my budget basically has stayed right on track as I anticipated.
What do you enjoy the most about living in Panama?
The thing I think I enjoy the most for me personally is the freedom. Since I have been working since I was a teenager and I am now in my 60s, it's been very, very liberating for me to have some free time and to be able to make my own decisions about where I go and who I associate with. So it's a freedom aspect for me, most definitely. My best experience, well, it really started with the Panama Relocation Tours back in January, because that's where I have met the core group of friends that I now associate with. One couple is here that lives about 5 minutes from me. Another couple just lives down the road about 10 minutes. So I've been able to establish some foundational relationships, and that's very important, especially when you're single.
What has been your worst experience?
You know what? In thinking about that, I haven't had a worst experience. I mean, the only thing, of course, everyone says that you have to practice patience once you're here. That is definitely true, because with this visa process thing, it took me 8 months to get my visa. So it was just a patience endeavor, and when you look back on it, it wasn't that bad. But when you're dealing with a different, governmental system and different expectations and requirements, sometimes you just want to pull your hair out. But everything does come back to center.
What has disappointed you about living in Panama?
Well, I really don't think again, no disappointments. I've been here 8 months, and I haven't been disappointed really with anything yet. I think being my age, I've become a little bit more liberated and liberal in terms of kind of going with the flow. So nothing's really gotten on my nerves too badly or has disappointed me.
Have there been any pleasant surprises?
Oh, pleasant surprises. I would just say in some of the personalities and people that I've met. Because I think we all have that common factor as to why we're here. And I think that's the main reason why it's been easier to make friends and connections here. So that was a pleasant surprise, because when you're in the workforce and in the work world in the States, everything is just kind of go go go, rush 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 rush. And here it's, like I said again, it's a more of a laid back environment. It's more conducive to making the relationship. So that's been a good thing for me, because I didn't have a lot of super tight relationships in the States. Most of them were acquaintances and work, people I worked with and so forth. So.
If you don't mind sharing with us, what are your average monthly expenses?
I've been keeping them about $1,100 a month. So that was my main concern, because when you're on the internet doing your research, you run into, oh, come to Panama, you can live on $1,000 a month. And it is true if you work it right. You just have to, and it depends, of course, on your expenses and anything that you're, bringing with you, from the States in terms of obligations. But I would say around $1,100 would be a best guess.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. That's one reason why I can smile.
Yeah.
Because you don't have that financial pressure like you did in the States. It seems like most middle class people live the paycheck to paycheck, and then you go back to work and try to, paycheck again, and just keep going in that cycle. And here the expenses are lower, so obviously you can have some relief. So that's one reason I'm probably not going to be leaving. anytime soon. I'm retired. I'm using I got my Social Security benefits at 62. So I'm living on my Social Security benefits, and it's very easy to do that. So that was one of the most pleasant surprises for me, because that was, of course, during my research, one of the things I had to look into, and it was the cost of living. So since my Social Security check is a little bit more than my expenses, I'm a happy camper. I can even save a little money.
How do you handle health insurance?
Well, the health insurance I got, there were so many different plans and so many different considerations regarding that. But here in Panama at Cheri Hospital in David is where I get my insurance. So for a 64-year-old female, it's about $89 a month, which is very affordable. The health insurance issue was one of the main reasons that I moved to Panama. That was the straw that broke the camel's back for me, because of the Obamacare, which would have cost me over $400 a month. So that's one of the reasons that I got here faster than my original plan, because I didn't plan to come until 2016, and I came like a year earlier. I haven't used my health care yet. I'm coming up now, because it's going to be, when it gets close to a year, I'm going to need to do the mammogram thing and the yearly physical thing, so that's coming up within the next couple of months. I have had some dental work done here. I had two old mercury fillings that had cracked, and one side was a little bit deeper than the other, but she replaced it for $80, and on the other one, on the other side of the mouth, she replaced that one for $30. So I spent about $80 to get two fillings replaced. Before I came, in fact, about 2 months before I came to Panama, I had one of my upper older mercury fillings replaced. I had dental insurance, and it cost me $400. Yeah, so that was another nice, pleasant surprise.
How do you feel about safety where you live?
Well, when you're a single female, which I have been most of my life, safety is very, very important. So I'm always aware of my surroundings and where I'm at, and of course, when it comes to a place to live, that is the major consideration. I felt totally safe. I walk. I don't have a car, so I walk. I have friends, of course, and there's the bus and taxis and so forth. But especially when I first arrived, I did most of my getting around was by walking, and I felt safe the entire time. Now, I don't go out at night by myself and walk, obviously, but during the day, it's not a problem.
What is the scariest experience you have ever had?
Scariest experience? Oh, just waiting for my visa paperwork to come in and get done, and praying that the fingerprints, they could read them, and I mean, just the usual things like that. But all worked out. Everything worked out, not a problem.
What about scariest as far as like safety? I mean, has there
Safety?
ever been a moment where even just a little bit you felt unsafe?
Well, we were with a friend of mine. We were walking her two dogs a couple months back in this neighborhood, which is a very nice, quiet neighborhood. And there, of course, are loads of dogs in Boquete. They are on every corner. I counted about 15 to 20 dogs just in the area that I walk. I do a 45-minute walk about four times a week. And we were walking her two dogs that one day, and one dog almost got over the fence and got at us. But, the fence had those little pointy things, on the end of it, so the dog couldn't get out. But it's just, that kind of took us aback, but it wasn't a problem. It wasn't a problem. I've walked around this neighborhood in this area with no problem, even with loose dogs and stray dogs. In fact, the dogs are very friendly. I was very surprised, to tell you the truth. But I have my little bamboo walking stick that I take with me, so I haven't had to use it though.
You need to get a machete.
Yes, indeed. I have one of those.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Okay, yeah. That's a Panamanian staple.
It is.
Has language barrier been an issue?
Well, here's what I did to prepare for that. One of the reasons, first of all, that I chose Boquete is because of the large expat community. So I knew that I would be able probably to communicate a little bit better, and that wouldn't be so traumatic. But I got a little teaching program over the internet that had about 9 lessons on it, and I practiced that before I came, and that has helped. Also, the little booklet that we received on the Panama Relocation Tours, it had some little cheat sheets with phrases and words and that type of thing. And that I carry to this day in my purse. So if I'm by myself and I get stuck and nobody can speak English, I can probably put a sentence together and communicate like I need to. So that wasn't traumatic either. It is, again, just being prepared and kind of knowing what to expect.
What would you like
Well, it really took a minute to think about that. I just went back to the States with a friend of mine for a week because she had to get her electronic fingerprints done. And of course, I wanted to go there. You have your favorite stores and places that you like to go, but they don't have like a super fabulous shopping mall here yet. But they are in process of building one, so that's something to look forward to. But you can also just go to Panama City because they have such a selection of malls there. I've only been to one, which is Albrook Mall, but I want to go. I think it's Metro Central or that one with all the designer shops in it. I'm looking forward to going to that one.
Definitely.
And having some fun, yes,
Night
yes,
and day difference.
yes. But that's really not anything that I don't have it. It's not available. So if I can want to hop on a plane, I can do that, or take the bus, or whatever. So I'm not. That doesn't have to be neglected.
What is your internet and cell phone service like?
I was surprised. The cell phone service here is better than I expected because I kind of expected, antiquated technology and so forth because everybody says 30 years behind the States. But I have cable onda, internet, and TV and cable, and that's fabulous. It's a little bit more expensive than I thought, but it's nowhere near what it would be in the States. So that's good. Cell phone service, it'll go in and out every once in a while. If the weather's bad, you might have a, 5, 10, 15 minute, downtime, but it hasn't been bad at all. A lot better than I expected, to tell you the truth.
What advice would you give someone before they move here?
Well, I would just say do your research. Don't depend on what really anybody's told you. Do your own research. One suggestion, in fact, I wasn't going to do this. Originally, I was just going to come to Panama cold turkey, do my own research, and just come and say a prayer and do what I have to do. But I decided to go on the Panama Relocation Tour, and that was a good investment. I'm glad I did that. That was very wise, especially, again, being a single person. You don't want to just land in a country and not know anybody and so forth. So I had, in fact, most of my questions, what did I tell? I think I told Jackie 95% of my questions were answered in the first session that we had, the first meeting that we had. So I was prepared because I had, done my research and had some questions answered, but it was confirmed. There were lots of confirmations during the tour.
How has moving here changed your life?
How has it changed my life? Well, let's see. I think maybe my blood pressure has gone down. You don't have the rat race, the old, working every day, 9 to 5 type of rat race. My time is my own. I can make my own decisions, so I have that freedom. It gives you more of a peaceful, environment and a peaceful mind. So that makes a big difference. That's a big priority to me is to have, be surrounded by peace and to be able to do what I need to do, make my own decisions and not be controlled by a lot of unnerving, circumstances and situations. So it's just been very, very relaxing for me. It's kind of like being on an extended vacation.
Being a single woman in a foreign country, is it easy to meet people?
Well, it depends on what your goals are. I mean, it depends on what you're talking about. Just regular friends. You want a boyfriend. You want, it just depends. I like I said before, I'm just interested in quality people of doesn't matter male or female. Like I said, the commonality factor is already built in because everybody's kind of here for similar or overlapping reasons. So that's what's been, like I said, that's been a big delight for me. Is just meeting some quality people and being able to interact and find some common factors. And so I have a lot of, I have like acquaintances and friends, both. You have inner circle and outer circle people. So that's good. And it's so important, the communications especially amongst the expats, because if I have a question about something, I can pick up the phone and call, like one out of, 5 people and get an answer and get some direction or whatever. So I haven't felt like I've just been like deposited here and I'm all alone and I'm panicking. It was just the opposite of that. And that was very, very rewarding for me. Very rewarding.
Do you have any favorite places in Boquete? Places to shop or eat, or just any favorite places?
Okay, let me think, because I usually hang out at Sandwich Shop, Mike's, because I love the sangrias at Mike's. The restaurants and the variety are fabulous. Tuesday Market, I usually, check out Tuesday Market because that's where I get the majority of my meals for the week because I get some of the little prepackaged meals, and those are delicious. And now I don't have to cook unless I want to. I really love the fruits and vegetables and all the availability of the markets. All over Boquete. So I'm a good big stir fry fanatic. So a meal for me would be some stir fry broccoli, cauliflower, red cabbage, and carrots, and a little white wine, and stir it together and put some seasonings on it, and I'm a happy camper. Little mozzarella cheese or Parmesan cheese on top. So that's really the extent of my cooking right now.
If you were to leave Boquete, what do you think you would miss the most?
Well, probably, the relationships that have been cultivated. I mean, it's always about people. Wherever you go, it's going to be about the quality and the caliber of the people that surround you or that are in your circle. So that would be the biggest thing. But aside from that, I mean, of course, the views are spectacular. It's nice to be able just to open your door and come out and just look up at a mountain. It's very, very nice to be able to do that. So that one I would definitely miss. And I love the landscape, and my main mode of exercise right now is walking. So I really am able to, take in a lot as I walk the area and see a lot of things, and it's just very, very nice. Wouldn't trade it for anything.